Maplewood Heights was the kind of place that made real estate agents smile. Wide sidewalks lined with trimmed hedges. Porch swings creaking gently in the afternoon breeze. A cul-de-sac where kids rode their bikes until the streetlights came on. The kind of neighborhood where everyone waved to each other, and nothing bad ever seemed to happen. It was also a place where safety was taken seriously. Almost every home had a Ring camera perched by the front door, its tiny blue light blinking like a silent guardian. To the residents, it meant peace of mind. No strangers slipping past unnoticed. No packages disappearing without a trace. If something happened, the camera would see it, or so they thought. On a Wednesday evening in late October, Sarah Winslow, a 32-year-old nurse, was curled up on her couch with a cup of tea. She was scrolling through her phone when her Ring app pinged. Motion detected at front door. She frowned. No one was supposed to be there, not at 11:47 p.m. She opened the live feed. There was a man standing on her porch. Not knocking, not moving, just standing. The porch light illuminated his outline, but his face was hidden under the shadow of a baseball cap. He didn't leave, didn't say a word, just stood there for over a minute before slowly turning his head, directly toward the camera, as if he knew she was watching. Sarah's stomach turned cold. By the time she worked up the nerve to call the police, the man was gone. Officers searched the area, but there were no footprints, no tire tracks, no sign anyone had been there at all. She tried to laugh it off the next morning. Probably a drunk guy at the wrong house, she told herself. But when she stopped by the local coffee shop on her way to work, she overheard two other customers talking. My Ring camera caught this weird guy last night, just standing there. Same here. He didn't do anything, just stared at the door. Sarah's pulse quickened. By the end of the week, more neighbors had posted similar clips in the Maplewood Heights community group. Same man, same baseball cap, always in the middle of the night. At first, people joked about it, called him the porch phantom. Someone even made a meme, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't random, that whoever he was choosing them. Then, on the sixth night, Sarah's Ring app pinged again. But this time, the motion alert wasn't from her front porch. It was from the inside of her house. Sarah's phone nearly slipped from her hand. Inside her house? That wasn't possible. She didn't have an indoor Ring camera. Did she? Heart pounding, she tapped the notification. The video opened. Her living room. From a high angle, like the camera was mounted in the corner of the ceiling. Sarah froze. She could see her couch, the coffee table, the lamp in the corner. And she could see herself, lying there on the couch, scrolling through her phone. She watched in horror as the recording showed her, completely unaware, sipping tea and yawning. Then, a shadow moved across the screen. Not hers, not the lamp's. Someone else was in the room. The figure stepped into frame, wearing the same baseball cap from the porch footage. He stood behind her couch, just watching. No sound, no movement. Just the slow rise and fall of his chest. The feed ended. Sarah's breath came in quick, shallow bursts. She didn't remember anyone being in her house. She didn't remember hearing a door open. And if this was real, how did he get a camera inside her home? She dialed 911 with shaking hands. The dispatcher kept her calm until the police arrived. But by the time officers searched the house, there was no one there. No signs of forced entry. No strange devices hidden in corners. No explanation at all. One officer, a veteran named Detective Morris, suggested it might be a hacked feed. These smart devices aren't as secure as people think, he said. If someone gets your login, they can access everything, even plant fake footage. Sarah wanted to believe him, but something in her gut screamed this was more than a tech prank. The next morning, Morris called her back. I talked to your neighbors, he said. Two others reported getting strange clips from inside their homes, all of them showing the man in the baseball cap. Sarah's skin crawled. That night, she decided to stay at her sister's place. She didn't want to be anywhere near her house. But just before midnight, her sister's phone buzzed with a notification. Motion detected on Ring camera. They opened it together. It was the man in the baseball cap, standing on her sister's porch. And this time he smiled. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. By the time Detective Morris arrived at Sarah's sister's house, the man in the baseball cap was long gone. But the ring footage proved he had been there. And he hadn't just smiled. He had waved, almost casually, like he knew exactly who was watching. Morris watched the clip 3 times before turning to the sisters. "This isn't random," he said flatly. "He's targeting you." Sarah's stomach churned. "Why me? I don't even know this man." But Morris wasn't convinced. People like this, they often know their victims. Sometimes they've been watching for months before they make contact. It was the word watching that made Sarah shiver. Later that night, Morris contacted the local cybercrime unit. They dug into the ring accounts connected to Sarah and her neighbors. That's when they found something alarming. Multiple logins to their cameras were coming from the same IP address. And it wasn't local. The location traced back to a small apartment building 2 towns over. Morris assembled a small team. They staked out the building for 2 nights before spotting him. The man in the baseball cap, carrying a backpack stuffed with equipment. He didn't look like a tech genius. He looked ordinary. Too ordinary. The team followed him discreetly, but instead of going home, he walked the streets, stopping outside houses, pulling out a small device from his bag. Later, they would learn it was a Wi-Fi sniffer, a tool that could intercept signals from smart devices, letting him slip inside digital systems like a thief with a skeleton key. But what disturbed them most was what he did next. He didn't just watch through the cameras. He spoke. From inside the house across the street, a child's terrified scream rang out. A mother burst onto the porch, clutching her daughter. She claimed she had heard a man's voice through the baby monitor saying, "I'm in the house." By the time police moved in, the man in the baseball cap had vanished into the dark. No fingerprints, no discarded gear, just a growing list of terrified families. And Sarah couldn't shake the feeling he wasn't just choosing houses at random anymore. He was playing a game, and she was the final level. Detective Morris didn't like the plan. It was risky, bordering on reckless. But after weeks of dead ends, they needed to force the stalker's hand. The idea was simple. Sarah would return to her home, knowing her ring cameras, now rigged with hidden police tech, would broadcast a fake vulnerability in the system. The hope was that the man in the baseball cap wouldn't be able to resist. Sarah sat at her kitchen table that evening, trying to look normal, while her every move was monitored by an undercover team 2 blocks away. The cameras were live, but secretly, a second feed was recording everything in ultra-high definition. It didn't take long. At 9:47 p.m., the living room light flickered. A small, deliberate glitch injected into the feed to lure him in. Sarah's phone buzzed with a notification. "Unrecognized device connected to your ring account." Her breath caught. He was in. A male voice crackled from the camera above the door. "Welcome home, Sarah. Did you miss me?" Sarah's blood ran cold, but she followed Morris's strict instructions. Don't respond, don't run. The team watched from their surveillance van as the stalker's signal triangulated closer. He wasn't in another town. He was nearby. Minutes later, a shadow crossed the front yard. The man in the baseball cap strolled into view, holding his phone like a conductor directing an orchestra only he could hear. He waved again, that same smug gesture from before. Morris whispered into his radio, "Hold until he's inside the yard, then go." But before they could move, the stalker's voice came again, more chilling than ever. "You think you're hunting me? You've been on my camera the whole time." In the van, every monitor went black. The team had been hacked. For the first time in his career, Morris realized they weren't just chasing a predator. They were inside his trap. The van was dead silent except for the hum of emergency backup power. Every screen showed the same looping message in red letters. "Stop looking for me." Detective Morris slammed his fist against the console. "Get the feed back now." Sarah's voice came through the radio, panicked but steady. "He's still out there. I can hear him walking around the house." Outside, the shadow of the man in the baseball cap moved slowly past her windows, like a shark circling prey. But now the ring feed was gone, the team was blind. Morris had no choice. "We're going in." Officers stormed the property. The front door was unlocked, the hallway eerily quiet. A faint tapping sound came from the living room. When they rounded the corner, they found Sarah alone, standing under the camera mounted on the wall. It was still on, and it was live streaming. Then, a voice boomed through it, this time deeper, angrier. "You should have stayed scared, Sarah." Morris's eyes scanned the room, and then he saw it. A second, hidden camera drilled into the corner molding, pointed not at Sarah, but at them. The realization hit like a punch. This was never about just watching Sarah. The stalker had been recording the police the entire time, turning the hunt into his own twisted show. Suddenly, a noise from the backyard, the sound of a gate slamming shut. Officers rushed outside and caught a glimpse of the baseball cap disappearing into the woods. They gave chase, flashlights cutting through the dark, but the figure was fast and knew the terrain. Then, just as they closed in, he stopped. Slowly, he turned toward them and removed his cap. Morris froze. The face staring back wasn't a stranger. It was Officer Kevin Hartley, one of their own tech specialists. Hartley smiled. "You can't protect anyone if I'm already inside their house and their cameras." Before they could react, Hartley sprinted into the darkness, vanishing into the night. The next day, the ring footage of the entire failed capture was leaked online. Every tense moment, every face. Millions watched. And somewhere out there, the stalker was still watching too. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell.